One and welcome. The time is 6 p.m. So we're going to go ahead and get started with the regular city council meeting. Brianna, would you please call the roll?
Bates.
Here.
Mangum.
Here.
Nichols.
Here.
Paulson.
Here.
Satterfield.
Here.
Swanson.
Here.
Dahlquist.
Here. Next, I would ask you to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing, please. We will have our invocation by Pastor Jonathan Dinger afterwards. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. Thanks for the opportunity. I haven't met all of you, and I look forward to doing that someday.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Let's begin. Good and gracious God and Father of us all, we thank you for the privilege we have to serve in this beautiful state, in this wonderful community. We thank you for those who serve on our behalf. We ask that you would grant them wisdom and encourage them, Lord, with our participation, with our prayers, with the good hopes, Lord, that all people, all citizens would be blessed by their work and their actions. We pray for peace and for unity and for the opportunity, Lord, to do those things which allow for such harmony in our community, that we may worship and play and learn and work with joy. We ask your blessing on this meeting tonight. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
All right, we will move into agenda item number 3, which is the consent agenda. The following business items may be approved by one motion and a vote. If any one member of the council so desires, any matter listed can be moved to a separate agenda item. A is material claims. Council may wish to approve the material claims for the period of February 1 to 15, 2026. Treasurer's report. Council may wish to approve the treasurer's report for December 2025, showing cash and investments as of December 31, 2025. Historic Preservation Commission appointment. Council may wish to confirm the mayor's appointment of Linda Lurick to serve as member of the Historic Preservation Commission, replacing Darrell Buffalo, who resigned. Linda's term will begin February 2026 and expire March 21, 2028. Council decision, denial of annexation request. Council may wish to adopt its decision denying the annexation of approximately 21.92 acres of land to extend to the Pocatello city limits along North Facer Mountain View Drive. E, council decision, final plat approval for Corner Cove Townhomes. Council may wish to adopt the decision approving the subdivision of approximately 0.40 acres of land for 4 lots subject to conditions. F, council decision, final plat approval for Greenfield Meadows, subdivision 7. Council may wish to adopt its decision approving the subdivision of approximately 10.27 acres of land into 25 lots subject to conditions. G, council decision, final plat approval for Eagles Landing, Division 2. Council may wish to adopt its decision approving the subdivision of approximately 10.43 acres of land into 22 lots subject to conditions. H, council decision, short plat approval for Elevation 5000 Division 2. Council may wish to adopt its decision approving the short plat for Elevation 5000 Division 2, which subdivides approximately 0.80 acres of parcel into 4 lots subject to conditions. I, council decision, short plat approval for Cahoon Landing. Council may wish to adopt its decision to the short plat for Cahoon Landing, which subdivides approximately 0.40 acres of parcel into 3 lots subject to conditions. Finally, donation acceptance of K-9 officer. Council may wish to accept a donation from Dustin Time Animal Rescue of an 8-month-old Belgian Malinois. This K-9 officer will serve as a drug detection dog and will replace K-9 officer Frank, who passed away.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I would move that we approve the consent agenda, agenda item 3, items A through J as outlined.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to approve the consent agenda by Councilman Mangum and a second by Councilwoman Swanson. Brianna, please call the roll.
Mangum,
Yes.
Swanson,
Yes.
Bates,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Holton,
Yes.
Satterfield.
Yes.
Okay, we do not have any proclamations this evening, so we'll move into the calendar review. Upcoming council meetings, March 2nd, 11 a.m., special city council budget meeting. 12 p.m. also on March 2nd, special city council goal setting meeting. On March 5th at 5:30, we have the council clarification meeting, followed by 6 p.m. with the regular city council meeting. On March 12th at 9 a.m., city council work session, followed by a special city council meeting. Other events, February 19 to 21, we've got the 46th Annual Simplot Games going on at Idaho State University's ICC Dome. I was there for the ribbon cutting ceremony this evening or late this afternoon, so that's well underway with a lot of athletes in town, so please go support that. City Creek Recreation Area, reminder that the gates will be closed to motorized access until approximately May 15th, 2026. And a reminder, please keep sidewalks clear of snow and ice. When clearing sidewalks and driveways of snow, please do not place snow in the street. It becomes a driving hazard. All right, agenda item number 6 is items from the audience. We do have some individuals that have signed in. Some ground rules for this, that this time has been set aside to hear items from the audience not listed on the agenda. Items which appeared somewhere else on the agenda will not be discussed at this time. The council is not allowed to take any official action at this meeting on matters brought forward under this agenda item. Items will either be referred to the appropriate staff or scheduled on a subsequent agenda. You must sign in at the start of the meeting in order to be recognized. Please note that total time allotted is 15 minutes, and we've got a maximum of 3 minutes per speaker. I'm happy to report that we have 4 citizens that have signed in this evening. We can start with Nikki Taysom.
Thank you. Nikki Taysom, General Delivery, Pocatello, Idaho 83201. Welcome, Mayor Dahlquist, to your position.
Thank you.
Look forward. I just wanted to review, once again, our Pledge of Allegiance. We pledged allegiance to that flag and those colors as a Christian constitutional republic under our God. And our gods are our Father, Mother in heaven, and Savior, Emmanuel. And we've been promised when we obey their laws, we have great blessings that we can receive. And we are missing some of those blessings because of turning away from them. And I am calling on you in behalf of those who can't defend themselves. Again, I'm speaking regarding children, elderly, special needs, people who are the ones that can't or have the knowledge to stand. You know, I've addressed the situation of child trafficking as well as drug trafficking, things like that, rituals involving children in this community and up in the canyons. I've learned even more regarding even some school bus drivers trafficking children after hours and before hours up those canyons. I love everybody. I'm addressing the concern, and we need to come together as a town, as a county, as a Christian nation, and as families. One nation under God, indivisible. I don't know if you've ever heard the term Viking warrior ethics. It's basically God's love, consecration. It's that we are all sons and daughters of our Father in heaven. We're families. We're united. And as a Viking ship, or even as native warriors, you do everything for the good, health, happiness, peace, prosperity, security, and eternal life and balance of the whole. And that means the earth itself, the family, the children, everything. You don't do anything to put a chink in the armor. And every decision I'm calling on you to make is based on the laws of our Father, Mother in heaven that they established for this land, for the sanctity of the whole, the peace and health and happiness of the whole, and especially those who are defenseless, that they rely on us to maintain that, and that's what a republic is. It is government by the people, for the good, health, happiness, peace, prosperity, security of the whole, the balance of the whole, while protecting the rights of the minority, including children, the animals, the earth, our law. What we stand for is a Christian nation to the world. We have a sacred role to the world, that our founders even declared that they felt that sacred burden when they developed our Declaration of Independence and our Constitution. And even the Pledge of Allegiance, our preamble, declare those things. And so I'm calling on you, especially you that are newly elected, but all people in Pocatello on this earth, we have got to come back together. And that is the only way that we're going to have health, happiness, and peace, have success, have families who are united, towns who are united.
Thank you,
the
Nikki.
name of Emmanuel.
Unfortunately, the time's up. Thank you.
Or have fun.
All right, next we have Janelle Romrell. I'm going to talk about building permits.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Janelle Romrell. I'm a lifelong resident, a graduate of Pokie High, and my husband and I are raising our 4 children here because we love this community. For the past 11 years, we've owned and operated Smile Makers Dental in a leased space. After years of saving, we recently purchased the former Elite building on Yellowstone Avenue with the goal of establishing permanence for our practice and investing long-term in Pocatello. We're committed to being responsible property owners, maintaining a safe, attractive building and contributing to the tax base. At a time when many commercial properties sit vacant, we've stepped forward to revitalize one. However, our experience with the permitting process has been deeply discouraging. In seeking approval to occupy and improve the building, we've been directed from department to department, with each new requirement bringing significant additional cost. So far, we've incurred well into 5 figures for additional architectural drawings, a parking plot map, and an extended sidewalk requirement, and we have not yet completed review with the fire marshal. We are not a large corporation with unlimited capital. We are a local family business making a significant personal investment. As costs continue to escalate, we are facing the possibility that we may not be able to move forward. Not for lack of commitment, but because the process has become financially unmanageable. My question is simple. How does Pocatello intend to attract and retain small businesses if the process feels unpredictable, slow, and financially risky? If we want to grow and have a stronger tax base, the permitting system must be efficient, transparent, and economically realistic. I would urge the council to consider 3 practical reforms. First, designate a single point of contact, a business liaison, to guide applicants through the process. Second, establish clear, measurable permitting timelines with a goal of completion within at least 60 days. Third, carefully evaluate the cumulative costs imposed to ensure they are proportionate and feasible. Business owners have options about where they invest. If we want them to choose Pocatello, the experience must reflect the goal. We love this city. We chose to invest here. We are ready to do our part to help it grow. We simply ask that the city do the same. Thank you.
Thank you, Janelle. Next, we have Marjana Hewlett here representing the Alameda neighborhood.
I brought a copy of my comments and also a copy of our neighborhood newsletter. And I'll only get halfway through this. My comments are longer than 3 minutes, so Roger's going to pick up the second half of the letter I just told him, so be kind to him. Hello, dear Mayor and Pocatello City Council. My name is Marjana Hewlett. I live at 353 Washington, and I'm here with my friend and neighbor Roger Fry as representatives of the historic Alameda neighborhood, a place we love and are committed to improving, preserving, and celebrating. We offer our congratulations to those of you newly elected to your positions and wish all of you the very best as you settle into working together. We are here to introduce ourselves and express our eagerness to join you in your efforts to improve Pocatello. The Village of Alameda was established and grew independent from the city of Pocatello for many years, only joining Pocatello after a very close vote was held in 1962. Since it grew up as a separate city, it has its own style and personality. For example, our streets align with compass directions, while the streets of the original Pocatello town site align with the rail yards. You can see that on Oak Avenue where it shifts. Our neighborhood is lucky to have curbs, gutters, and sidewalks on all our streets, and the almost 10-acre Alameda Park serves as a central hub for us. We're a working-class neighborhood with some of the most affordable houses in the city. We focus on raising our families, caring for friends and neighbors, and making do for ourselves. We've been working with Jim Anglesey, the city's long-term planner, to create comprehensive plans for both our neighborhood and Alameda Park, which we hope to bring to you this year for your approval. This effort aligns with Pocatello's own comprehensive plan, which calls for the city to, quote, collaborate with neighborhoods and provide support for the planning of those neighborhoods. We see our comprehensive plans as a way to coordinate our endeavors with those of city staff to make our neighborhood stronger. A good example of how this might work is our effort to secure protection for the historic Alameda Fire Station at 429 Washington. Ownership of this building was transferred to Pocatello when Alameda joined the city. Since that time, the building has served as a tremendous community resource with multiple nonprofits leasing its space from Pocatello at minimal cost. Sadly, since 2024, the city of Pocatello has chosen to not lease the fire station and has instead deliberately neglected the building. There seems to be a misguided hope that the historic structure will fall into such disrepair that the city will have no choice but to tear it down. It's called demolition by neglect. It's shameful and wasteful. We are strenuously opposed to this and urge you to take the steps necessary to repair the damage that has been allowed to happen. This historic building should be returned to a functioning state where it can again benefit our city. It's a valuable resource, and we are proud it is located in our neighborhood, especially given its documented historical value. We will strenuously and vocally oppose efforts to have it further neglected, torn down, or removed. My friend Roger will read the second half of my letter. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council. My name is Roger Fry, President of Alameda Neighborhood Association, 451 Warren Avenue. I was going to read the second half of the letter, but you have the letter, so I'm going to do the condensed version here for you.
Okay.
A couple of things that we've been working on in the neighborhood. We put together a vision day last year, and there was a few things that the neighborhood as a whole came together and discussed the things that they'd like in their neighborhood. For example, things like painted crosswalks, bump outs on the corners to slow the traffic down, fencing possibly around the playgrounds, different playground situations, additions of things for our park. Excuse me. We've talked about developing a business corridor around the outside of the Alameda neighborhood. It's a very unique neighborhood in the fact that it has businesses located all the way around the neighborhood. And so we'd like to see, based on the comprehensive plan for 2040, those business areas run into multifamily areas running into single family, the way the plan calls out. We see Alameda as becoming a very unique neighborhood in that it could be walkable, very walkable, considering the sprawled out nature of some of the other neighborhoods that we have, especially with those businesses located on the outside area. As Marjana mentioned, we've been working with Jim with the Planning and Zoning Commission. We're developing a neighborhood plan. We're also developing a park plan. We're the first neighborhoods that have been involved in this. Mainly what we want to discuss today is that we'd like to be involved a little bit more with the city functions and decisions that are made for our neighborhood. We feel like we have a very organized neighborhood association, and we're more than willing to help in a lot of situations. For example, we're working with Parks and Rec right now, and we've donated money towards contributions towards the new playground equipment that's needed there. I don't know if you heard, but a tree fell down and knocked out part of one, but so we're working with them diligently to put together a new playground for our kids. We planted trees last year. So, I mean, this association is really digging in, and it really wants to be a shining example with the rest of the neighborhoods in our city. Last thing is basically our new motto for this year is nothing about us without us. So we're hoping that if decisions are made for our neighborhood, we'll be contacted as a neighborhood association by one of you or all of you. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you, Roger and Marjana. Thank you for everything you're doing to lift up the Alameda neighborhood. That board's been really resurrected, and kudos to you to making it more active and better neighborhood. Okay, moving on, we've got agenda item 7. It's reconsideration request, hearing examiner variance denial. Council may wish to consider a reconsideration request submitted by Andrew Matkin mailing address 165 Rosewood Avenue, Pocatello 83201, appealing the decision of the hearing examiner which denied the building size variance and east side setback variance for an accessory structure at 165 Rosewood Avenue, following a public hearing held on November 13, 2025. Would the applicant like to speak this evening? Not sure if he's here. Okay.
I'll answer any questions that you.
Sure, if there's, are you, and if you could state your name, are you Andrew?
Andy Matkin.
Okay, yeah, just if you have any kind of background for us, or there may be some questions after about whatever you'd like to say.
The story begins, I hired a man to build a steel structure for me, and he was supposed to pull a permit. And I never questioned it. And my neighbor above me, his retaining wall was falling into my property. So he decided to replace it. And the inspector came up, and I don't know how it all began, really. Said that my shop was in violation. So I got a letter 6 months ago, a registered letter. So I called, and so I'm just here trying to keep my shop. They want me to tear it down. I borrowed money against my house to build this building. I don't have the money to tear it down. The contractor I did talk to wants to be paid for tearing it down. He won't accept payments. I told Mrs. Flynn that the city could have it. She said it doesn't work that way. So I don't know what to do. So it could be dismantled, but the problem is I had it sprayed with insulation, and no one will work on it because of that fact. I thought maybe I could come into compliance by moving the one wall, but I can't find anybody who wants to touch it, nobody. And so I'm asking to please grant my variance and maybe let me pay a fine or something like that. I don't know how all this works. I was under the impression that this was a closed hearing between me and you, not all the public, and that's what I paid for. This is the second hearing I've paid for.
All right, well, I think what we'll do next, Andy, is we'll have staff present. There's a staff report, and then the council members may have some questions after the staff report, so we may have you come back. But any other comments
great.
before we move to the staff report?
What's that again?
Are there any other comments you'd like to give before we have staff report?
Well, I need you all to know that I'm real scared, okay? I don't have the money to do what's being asked of me. I depended on this guy. I have built several places in Pocatello and Bannock County. I've had a permit for each home that I've ever done. I didn't think. Okay, I've been called a liar, and I've been told that I must know how it looks. Well, I don't. I'm telling you what I know. I don't know. I'm ignorant, And that's a big problem for me. It always has been, really. This thing can ruin me. The way it was explained to me is if I don't come into compliance, that it will be turned over to the police, and then the police, if I don't do anything about it, I will go to jail. If I go to jail, I'm going to lose my job. I will lose everything that I've worked 57 years for. And I guess that's pretty much sums it up for me.
Okay. All right, thanks for your comments. Can we do, I'm assuming, have a staff report?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name's Jennifer Flynn. I'm the Assistant Planner in the Planning Department. Andy summed it up pretty well, you know, as far as the process, but I have just some facts that I'll point out to you and happy to answer any questions. So this structure was built at 165 Rosewood Avenue, and the building department identified the shop had been built without a permit. The city notified the property owner, Mr. Andy Matkin, that he would need to apply for a variance or remove the shop. Mr. Matkin applied for a variance, and that variance was denied by the hearing examiner in November. The denial of variance 25-0006 brings us here today for this reconsideration. The subject property on Rosewood is 0.16 acres and zoned residential medium density single family, or the RMS zone, with a future land use designation of residential. The request submitted to the hearing examiner was to allow a variance from the minimum setback of 5 feet on the east side of the property in order to allow a detached structure to remain. It also asked for the size of the structure to be larger than the home itself, because that's one of our standards, and also an exemption from the landscaping standards. This detached structure has already, as noted, has already been built with no permit on file and maintains a 2-foot setback on the east side. The shop is approximately 1,079 square feet, and I have some other measurements if you'd like them. It stands about 15 feet, 8 inches tall. The primary structure appears to be, which is his home, appears to be about 800 square feet. This shop violates the side setback and the size requirements as noted in 17.06.200.1. Notice was posted on the property appropriately for both the hearing examiner and for this hearing or this public meeting. And all property owners adjacent to the property were notified. At the hearing examiner's meeting, public comment was allowed and can be found in the executed minutes, as well as the letters submitted in writing to staff. Public comment was not accepted for this public meeting, as it is not a public hearing, per code 17.02.400B. And I'm happy to answer any questions that folks might have.
Okay, all right, Councilwoman Swanson.
Andy, I believe it is mentioned that he had been charged for a hearing or had to pay for a hearing.
Sure.
Is that correct, that we charge?
Yes,
that
ma'am.
there's a fee for a hearing?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, the variances, but you know, all of our special hearings have fees associated with them.
What was the fee?
I want to say approximately $600, but I'm not positive. Somewhere right around there. So for the variance hearing, it was approximately $600 plus a noticing fee.
Okay.
And then for this one, it was around $200.
So this session right now?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it? Okay, thank you.
Okay, anything else?
I do have another question. Can you review the standards and the risks that those standards are trying to mitigate? So if you've got a setback that's supposed to be 5 feet and it's 2 feet, what are we trying to mitigate with the codes that he's violating at this point?
I think one has to do with water runoff and the way that drainage is supposed to work within a structure. Another one is just privacy on lots, so that you're not encumbering another person's property, you know, with your eaves or the building structure going into somebody else's property. I think a lot of it has to do with kind of the aesthetics and just the feel of a neighborhood. Just for example, we don't typically encourage accessory structures to be in the front setback. Mr. Matkin's structure actually meets the front setback, which is 25 feet. But it's unusual to see a shop in the front of a home, you know, in the front of a property. And I think that those standards have been put in place just to resemble some type of a comfortable feel and kind of a nice, you know, aesthetics to the neighborhood.
Thank you.
Okay, good. All right, sure.
So were there any complaints from the neighbors around there during this process of them building this?
I wasn't in the planning department during the building. I'm honestly not sure when the building structure actually went up. However, you can, in the packet that I've provided, there were a lot of public comments from the neighbors that are quite upset about the structure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not just the city that's struggling with this? Okay.
All right. Anything else? Okay, sorry, Councilman Bates.
Jen, can you, so if we uphold the denial and Mr. Matkin cannot come into compliance, I mean, Mr. Matkin stated what he believes is the penalty for him, but what would be the penalty if he can't move his shop?
So in my experience, what happens in our code enforcement process is that, just say, you know, there's somebody that can't come into compliance, then they're issued a misdemeanor citation through the police department. And past that, I think it would go to court to file appeal for the decision that's been made at the city level. Beyond that, I'm not really sure.
Okay, yes.
This might be a question for Mr. Matkins, but once or twice a week on the next street over on Cottonwood, I, take care of an autistic guy who lives in a group home there. The streets are extremely narrow. Does the shop have a commercial purpose? Because the streets are already super narrow, and it's already pretty tough to drive. If there's two cars coming, it's already rough. So if this shop is increasing traffic, is that a concern with this? Or
Far as I understand, he stores like some recreational stuff in his shop, so I'm not aware of any commercial purpose behind the shop. Yeah.
Okay, Councilwoman Satterfield.
So the front is compliant, but it's the side?
That's right. So when we assess a structure, we look at front setback, rear setback, and side setbacks, as well as the height and the size. Those are sort of the primary things that we look at as far as things they have to comply with. And so his shop is too close to the neighbor's property on the east side, and then too big compared to his home.
Okay. You have a question for him?
Okay, sure. Come on up, Andrew.
So, my house was built at the very back of the property. If the house would have been built towards the front like the rest of the houses, it would have been just as tall because the slope runs downhill. So it would have been just as tall as my shop is. And I would like each one of you, it's a big thing to ask, I know, but I'd like each one of you to drive up that road and take a look and see what you think. Richard Bigelow came to look at it, and one of the first things he said was, "What a nice building." And when he went inside, I don't know if he's familiar with steel buildings, but he said it was built real nice. And all of my neighbors up there have told me how nice it is. I got the neighbor, above me, that retaining wall was falling into my property. He's mad at me. And I got to get back to the point I was trying to make is if my house had been built up front like everybody else, one of the complaints was I took their view away. Well, if my house had been built up there, there wouldn't have been any view, just like all the houses sideways up the hill. And there is no water runoff like everybody's talking about. I have taken pictures of the snowfall. It all falls on my property. In the wintertime, it don't melt off that fast to where I don't even know how to get all this out. It goes back to the 100-year-old.
Okay, yeah, we need to retain this part for any questions, so we'll, Councilman Nichols.
First of all, I would like to point out that I did do a drive-by inspection of it, but I didn't have any type of ex parte communication. I didn't speak to anyone, just drove by and looked at it. And what I saw was a shop building that apparently had sort of a narrow setback on one side. But with that said now, so you hired did you hire a general contractor to build this from start to finish, dug for the foundation, did it all, or was it a variety of different contractors and subs?
Just the building. Just the building. Hired him. I got his number, I got a card. I was in Ridley's, and I've been looking for a steel building. I knew I couldn't afford to do wood. Anyway, I got this guy's card from Ridley's, and I called him. And I was scared to begin with because he kept pressuring me. It had to be ordered by the end of August in order to get the 20% off. And so anyway, I went for it. It was a considerable savings.
So, is this like a pole barn type of construction or steel frame?
Steel.
It's steel.
Steel.
Okay, so who did the excavation and the foundations and the footings and all of that work necessary to put a steel building on it? Was that done by the same contractor?
No, that was basically done by me.
So who is responsible for the layout?
What's the layout?
Well, the
mean?
layout, as far as where the building's gonna be located on your site. Did you do that, or did the contractor do that? You did that?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So how is it the contractor's fault then, if you laid it out with inadequate
Well, I did,
setback?
I poured the concrete and laid all that out. So I ordered this building. And he came, I paid him to order it because it had to be cut. Then, like a month later, it showed up. And he laid it all out that night, squared it all up on the concrete. And I paid him for the delivery of it. 2 days later, it was done, and I paid him for the finish job.
But you were the one responsible for where things were placed, though, and not your general contractor. Is that correct?
Yeah, I guess, yeah, I'm responsible. I hired him. So every building I've ever built, my contractors have always pulled a permit because it's hard for me. I don't take time off work, number one. I just don't take time off work.
Okay, did you have any other questions of him?
Not for right now, no, but thank you.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I have some for Jen.
Okay.
I think you wanted to touch that. Two things.
Sure.
So before he even does concrete and stuff, he should have a permit to start, right?
Correct.
Okay. Two, is it true that he could go to jail in this process?
I'd need a lawyer or the police to answer that. I'm
Okay, but
really
you
not
didn't say
sure.
that to him or give him that?
I don't think so. I've never gone so far through the code enforcement process to send anybody to jail, so I really couldn't say.
Okay, thank you.
And Chief Shy may be able to
Okay.
address that.
Chief Roger Scheid, Pocatello Police. Generally, we don't take people to jail for that. It's a misdemeanor citation. We very rarely take people to jail for misdemeanors anymore based off the Clark ruling. So what it would require, it would be, if it came to that point, would be a citation issued with an appearance date, and then he'd have a pretrial conference and go through that process where he would have to, if he got an attorney, that'd be up to him, or he could represent himself and then have to go through that process and then go to court if he pled not guilty. So it'd be up to the judge essentially if he would take him to jail for that. But that's not something we regularly take people to jail for. In fact, I can't think of a time where we've done that over something like that.
Good to know, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Can I say one more thing?
We'll only take the questions right now. We already had that chance to testify. So Councilman Nichols has a question.
Yeah, I have a question for Jared. So let's say that this council approves this variance, right? That gets perhaps past the setback issue. But we're still faced with the issue where we have a building that was built there without a permit and without any inspections. And therefore, we don't know whether or not it was built to code, whether it meets basic life safety, right, conditions or not. So what kind of a predicament are we in if we approve the variance, but now we've got this building that we don't know whether it was built to code or not?
Correct. Great question. So, as you pointed out, the variance is really half the equation at this point. The variance is only for the side setback and the size. It's not for the lack of a building permit, which includes inspections and compliance controls. And so it's quite possible that even if the council were to grant the variance tonight or overturn the decision of the hearing examiner, we would pursue the no permitting process complaint, which would mean a citation and working with the courts to get this individual into compliance. Compliance with the variance or with the setback and size is what's at issue tonight, but the fact that it doesn't have a building permit and it didn't have inspections would still be a concern of the cities and something we would ethically have to pursue so that we have not only safety for him and the occupants that go into that shed, but the neighbors as well. It's really not something we can turn a blind eye to, and so we would have to pursue that as well, and we would still have that problem to take care of.
Right, so are there ever any conditions under which the building might be forcibly demolished?
Yes. Yes, that could occur, and this is one of those situations where we don't know what processes were followed when it was built. We don't know what the foundation looks like, the footings look like. And so, yeah, this could be a situation where demolition might be the only way to come into compliance. We've had other situations like this where we were able to do after-the-fact inspections by removing sheetrock, by removing paneling, different things like that to make sure the framing was done, to make sure the roof is attached properly so it doesn't blow off in a windstorm, things like that. I don't know if that's a possibility in this case. Obviously, we do the least intrusive things we can before demolition. But if we can't confirm that everything is up to snuff on the codes, then that might be working through the courts. That might be a judge's final order, as demolition is the only way to make sure everything is safe.
Got it, thank you very much.
Mr. Mayor.
Sure, Councilman Mangum.
I feel like this is a really tough situation to find yourself in concerning having a contractor who should have pulled permits, but then also as a manager of a bank who does construction lending, every owner has to go out and to ensure that their contractor has pulled those permits. And so the ultimate responsibility here falls on the homeowner. So with that, Mr. Mayor, I would move that we would uphold the decision of the examiner and to deny or to uphold the denial of the variance as outlined.
Second.
Okay, we have a first from Councilman Mangum to uphold the decision of the hearing examiner. I believe the second one was from Councilman Bates. Any other comments before we call the roll?
Mr. Mayor?
Sure.
I would just like to state why I am voting to uphold the denial for Mr. Mackin and for the general public. I'm a big believer in personal property rights. I read our zoning codes, and sometimes it really irritates me. But at the same time, we heard public comment today of someone who is trying all that they can to follow, take personal responsibility and follow the requirements that we're placing on them. And so ultimately, it would not be fair, in my opinion, to all those individuals who follow our code, who try to do the right thing by upholding or by granting this variance. And so ultimately, Mr. Mackin, that's why I will vote to deny the variance.
If I could take it down, I would. I don't have the money.
Okay,
I appreciate that.
all right. Aubriana, could you call the roll, please?
Mangum,
Yes.
Bates,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Paulson,
Yes.
Satterfield,
Yes.
Swanson.
Yes.
Okay, moving on to agenda item number 8, professional services agreement work order for the airport. Council may wish to approve a work order with our DORA, in the amount of $77,185.83, and authorize the mayor's signature on all pertinent documents subject to legal department review. Services provided under the work order will be the design, bidding, procurement, administration, and grant administration of a new airport rescue firefighting truck. The work will be funded 90% by FAA AIP grant funds and 5% by state grant fund and budgeted airport passenger facility charge funds. I believe we have the staff presentation for that. Is that? Okay, or,
Mr. Mayor?
okay, sure. Sorry, go ahead, Councilman Paulson.
I would move to approve agenda item number 8 as outlined for $77,000 or $77,185.83 and authorize the mayor's signature on all pertinent documents subject to legal department review.
Second.
All right, and we have a first to approve the professional services agreement from Councilman Paulson first, and second, I believe, was Councilwoman Swanson. Aubriana, please call the roll.
Paulson,
Yes.
Swanson,
Yes.
Bates,
Yes.
Mangum,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Satterfield.
Yes.
Agenda item 9, utility easement request. Council may wish to grant a perpetual public utility easement on and through city property for the installation and maintenance of electrical services for the Pocatello Community Charter School and authorize the mayor's signature on all pertinent documents subject to legal department review.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Councilman Mangum.
I would move to approve the utility easement request as outlined in agenda item 9, authorizing the mayor's signature on all pertinent documents, subject to legal department review.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion made by Councilman Mangum to grant the utility easement request with a second from Councilwoman Swanson. Aubriana, please call the roll.
Mangum,
Yes.
Swanson,
Yes.
Bates,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Paulson,
Yes.
Satterfield.
Yes.
Agenda item 10, Highline Road Improvement Phase 1, El Rancho Boulevard Intersection and Signal Improvements Project, Task Order Number 1. Council may wish to approve Task Order Number 1 between the City of Pocatello and Keller Associates, Inc. in the amount of $196,081 and authorize the mayor's signature on all appropriate documents, subject to legal department review. There is no financial requirement or match for this project. The city will use $117,770 allocated from the SLFRF ARPA funds to cover a portion of the cost, and the remaining amount will be covered by a $2 million in state funding already received from the Idaho Transportation Department for the proposed development.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
First, I'd like to say I'm excited about this project. We've been talking about this for quite a while.
Yep.
And to see it actually come into fruition is amazing. That road really does need some attention, so I'm excited that it's going to get the attention that it deserves. And with that, I would move that we, the council, would approve the Highline Road Improvement Phase 1, Task Order Number 1, as outlined in Agenda Item 10.
Thank you.
Second.
Okay. All right, we have a first from Councilman Mangum for the Highline Road Improvement Phase 1, El Rancho Boulevard Intersection and Signal Improvements Project Task Order 1, with a second from Councilman Bates. Brianna, please call the roll.
Mangum?
Yes.
Bates?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Paulson?
Yes.
Satterfield?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Thank you. With no other business, our meeting is adjourned. Thank you.